What is up? What is up, YouTube? How y'all doing? Check it out, man. Uncle Mike is on a marathon, man. Kendrick Lamar, Super Bowl, man. Before we get started, Uncle Mike want to say this one thing, man. Can you imagine a diss track, a hip-hop rap diss track, beef track? Kendrick Lamar and Drake beef has gotten so big that it made it to the halftime Super Bowl. This beef. Hip-hop, hip-hop lovers and hip-hoppers worldwide, give yourself a round of applause, because just like Biggie Smalls, my bad, y'all, I'm old, man. My brain don't work like it used to, man. That's crazy. Biggie Smalls said it himself. You remember rapping Duke? Da ha. You never thought that hip hop would take it this far. Now they in the limelight because I'm round tight. Now hip hop is on the main stage of the Super Bowl, my guy. You don't understand. Y'all don't understand that rapping Duke. Y'all know that bar, right? Let me break this down to y'all for the ones that's listening, the younger generation. You remember rapping Duke? Da ha. Look up rapping Duke. Google it. YouTube it. Rapping Duke was a white dude that was making fun of hip hop. You remember rapping Duke? Yeah, I remember it. Y'all don't. I remember it. Da ha. That's the name of the song. That was the hook of the song. Da ha. Da ha. That was the hook. Remember rapping Duke? Da ha. You never thought that hip hop would take it this far. Rapping Duke, because that was a joke song that he made. It was a hit, y'all. It was a joke song about hip hop. That's why Biggie Smalls made that bar. Y'all hit that subscribe button, hit that bell, man. It's coming from that channel.
This was the blackest Super Bowl halftime show ever.
The blackest Super Bowl halftime show ever. Go on, Kendrick. That's my dog right there, man. Halftime Super Bowl show. And Jay-Z made sure, controversy sells, baby. I'm wide awake on this thing, man. Let's do this. Y'all ready? Here we go.
This was the blackest Super Bowl halftime show ever. And for a lot of people, that was the problem. Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl performance was a statement. In an era where America is teetering on the edge of cultural war, where black art and activism are under constant scrutiny and attack, Kendrick stepped onto the biggest stage in sports and delivered the most unapologetically black, politically charged, and hip-hop infused halftime show the Super Bowl has ever seen. Now, the road to this performance was not easy. From Lil Wayne drama to his infamous beef with Drake and looming legal threats around his performance of Not Like Us, the stage was set for a showdown. Not to mention that he performed in front of none other than the president, Donald Trump, while delivering a show packed with symbolism that cuts deep into the racial and social divide in America. Some people are calling this the worst halftime show ever, and maybe that's because Kendrick didn't just do the hits like everybody wanted, he did the work. A lot of people miss the symbolism, so today we're breaking down every moment, every message, and why this performance wasn't just historic, it was necessary. Before we even get into the show, we see the whole stadium was lit up like a big red button, which references Kendrick's beef with Drake. Now, the big red button is a symbol of power, destruction, or initiating something major like a missile or a bomb. And in the context of Kendrick and Drake's beef, Drake initially posted this implying,
whoa, I never even looked at it like that, man. The button. What? Man, y'all be seeing stuff Uncle Mike don't be seeing.
To the show, we see the whole stadium was lit up like a big red button, which references Kendrick's beef with Drake. Now, the big red button is a symbol of power, destruction, or initiating something major like a missile or a bomb. And in the context of Kendrick and Drake's beef, Drake initially posted this implying that he had something devastating ready to drop, as if he was about to press the big red button to escalate the feud. By lighting lighting up the entire stadium in red, Kendrick turned that symbolism on its head, and it was like he was saying, "I am the red button." Kendrick positioned himself as the one in control, dictating the narrative of beef on his own terms. And that wasn't the only piece of symbolism at the very beginning of the show. The stage lit up with controller buttons: square, triangle, cross, and circle, just like a PlayStation controller. Now, there's a few different theories going around for what this actually means. There is the Drake diss theory. One of Drake's diss tracks was called First Person Shooter, where he brags, "I am as big as the Super Bowl." Kendrick essentially used Drake's own flex against him, shutting down the beef on the exact platform that Drake had hyped up at the start, which is next level pettiness, but that's exactly what we expect from a Gemini. And the last theory is life as a rigged game.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead. Hold up. Wait a minute. Y'all picking the zodiac signs up in this joint. What? Wait a minute. Pump your brakes, baby. Here we go.
Where he brags, "I am as big as the Super Bowl." Kendrick essentially used Drake's own flex against him, shutting down the beef on the exact platform that Drake had hyped up at the start, which is next level pettiness, but that's exactly what we expect from a Gemini. And the last theory is life as a rigged game. According to the halftime show art director Shelley Rogers, the symbols were Kendrick's idea, meant to represent his journey through the American dream, but as a black man. Now, I had a look on BET and they took this even further, calling the PlayStation imagery a symbol of how black culture is entertainment for America, but also controlled, manipulated, and commodified. And think about it. Gaming is about control. Who holds the controller? Who sets the rules? Who gets to play? Kendrick is using these symbols, exposing the system. Black artists create the culture, yet they rarely own the game. And this is a wider piece of symbolism around him navigating the world as a black man and the games that he has to play in order to fit into that system. Then we go into one of my favorite pieces of symbolism in the performance.
And this is the great American game.
We have
Here we go. And it's funny because nobody said that. You know, that's Samuel Jackson. Uncle Sam, his nickname is Sam. That's Sam. Uncle Sam is playing Sam. And you know what? To be honest, man, I don't blame him. You give me enough money, I'll put on that suit. It's better than putting on a dress. It's better than putting on a dress. Give me how much? 20 million? I put that dress, I put that dress. I put that suit on. That's the Red Bull talking, man.
The black Uncle Sam, played by Samuel Jackson, who was the perfect casting for this role, taking the theory of life as a rigged game for black people even further. Sam says, "Welcome to the American game," a direct call out to the great American dream and navigating it like a black man or a black person. Kendrick Lamar flipped Uncle Sam into a minstrel. He steps into this minstrel-like role, embodying the American entertainment industry's policing of black expression. Uncle Sam has always demanded everything from black America: labor, culture, talent, votes, while giving little in return. And here, Kendrick flips that power dynamic. Samuel Jackson is also known for playing minstrel-like characters like Steven in Django Unchained, and his role here reminds me a lot of Uncle Ruckus from the Boondocks, and not only
That's where they got the role from, man. That's where they got the role from. Either the cartoon character got the role for that, or they got the role from that. Most definitely, man.
Known for playing minstrel-like characters like Steven in Django Unchained, and his role here reminds me a lot of Uncle Ruckus from the Boondocks, and that only cements the symbolism further. Then we see this imagery that looks a lot like the album cover for GNX. A bunch of dancers get out of this car, and they get out of the GNX, but not just any version of the GNX, the 1987 Buick GNX to be exact. Now, if I pronounce that wrong, I'm not a car person, so don't sue me. Most halftime performers descend from the sky or pop out of the stage, but Kendrick pulled up in a Buick GNX. For Kendrick, a GNX means authenticity, as well as being a call out to the cover of the album GNX. For Kendrick, GNX is personal. In a 2012 interview with Complex, Kendrick reveals that his father actually drove him home from the hospital in the parent model of the GNX, a Buick Regal. Kendrick was also born in 1987 when Buick released the Regal and the GNX. This car is also a symbol of Black culture, especially in the 80s and the 90s. Lowriders, West Coast hip-hop, HBCU homecomings. For Kendrick, it's a reflection of where he comes from and the culture that shaped him. For a moment, the performance stops and Kendrick throws down this bar. The revolution will be televised. You got the right time, but the wrong guy. He flips Jill Scott Heron's iconic phrase to declare that this time, Black resistance will be on full display and America has to watch, which is a really powerful move considering that President Donald Trump was actually watching, highlighting Kendrick's disapproval of the administration's policies and actions. By saying he's the wrong guy, Kendrick is acknowledging the obvious. He's not the usual pop-friendly Super Bowl act, and he's also playing into a lot of the criticisms around him actually performing at the Super Bowl. But in a time where racial tensions are high and America feels more divided than ever, he's exactly who needs to be on that stage, whether the audience is ready for it or not. After this, he launches into Squabble Up, which I think is kind of like Kendrick saying that he's ready to throw some hands. He's putting up a fight in this performance. He's showing that he is not backing down. He is in the ring and he is ready to squabble up. And those dancers from before are all in different corners of the stage, split up into their different colors, red, blue, and white. Now, as well as this being symbolism for the American flag and how Black people or American people as a whole are divided, it could also be a nod to how Black people are specifically divided into the Bloods and the Crips, especially with the colors there. When you think of the song playing, Squabble Up, the symbolism around this becomes stronger. But there's also another meaning to this that I will go into a bit later. Now, after this, Black Uncle Sam comes back and he says this is too loud, too reckless, and too ghetto. And he's not just speaking as a character, as Uncle Sam. He is the voice of mainstream America, the industry, the media, the establishment, who are always trying to keep Black people and Black artistry within acceptable limits. It's identity politics, the model minority. It's almost like he's saying, wait, hold up. That's not how you play the game. That's not how we want you to play the game. And after the performance, what he says is literally how people criticized his performance. Don't dim our light. Stay in your lane. But let's go more into this American flag symbolism, because these dancers are dressed in red, white, and blue, and they flood the stage, forming an American flag. And at the center...
Now let me tell y'all, man, real talk, this is what... Now, when I was doing the breakdown, this is what I caught. This is the only thing I caught right here, y'all. The blue, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4, 8. The blue people, even though it ain't no white in the middle to represent the stars, that was good enough for a distance. And then you got the stripes, the red and the white stripes. Yeah, that's all. I said that's supposed to be a flag. Okay, that's the only thing I caught. Let's keep going, man.
American flag symbolism, because these dancers are dressed in red, white, and blue, and they flood the stage, forming an American flag. And at the center of this American flag, Kendrick stands, splitting them in two. And we see this biblical imagery that Kendrick actually does a lot, and he actually did in the Not Like Us music video. It's a simple but powerful metaphor. America's racial and political divide, a country built on freedom, yet still struggling with who actually gets to be free. A land of opportunity, yet one where Black culture is celebrated, but Black people aren't always respected. The dancers move in chaos and their colors shuffle together, again reinforcing the symbolism of division. But this could also be a hint at something more hopeful, unity, a reminder that even in disorder, there is connection. And at a time where the nation feels more fractured and divided than ever, Kendrick is using the biggest stage in America to say that this country has never been as united as it claims to be, but there still might be some hope that we can come together. So when that song ends, we see the lights in the crowd come up, kind of like stars, and they spell out warning, wrong way. And this is another video game reference, especially in like these choose your adventure games or in video games in general. If you go the wrong way, it kind of directs you the right way to go and kind of gives you these subliminal cues on how to play the game the right way. And this could also be a criticism of the establishment in America right now and Trump's regime, or the fact that much of the back half of his set carried on and ultimately concluded the beef with Drake. Then the stage transforms into this street scene and we see steel and concrete everywhere. Now this is a nod to Compton, his home, and perhaps every city where poor Black communities struggle, survive, and thrive. But this imagery also looks a lot like Kendrick Lamar's 2015 All Right video, where Kendrick stood on a street light before being shot by police. Now this is a direct callback to systemic racism, police brutality, and the reality of Black life in America. The dancers also form the shape of a missile or a bullet in this, which further reinforces this theme and is a reflection of police brutality and how America does not protect Black people. Now after this, Uncle Sam comes back and condemns Kendrick and says he's using cheat codes because he brought his homeboys, and he deducts a point of life in his game. And this could symbolize a lot of things, but I think that it talks about how society, especially systemic forces like the government, aka Uncle Sam, punish Black success and community support. This could be a shout out to the Tulsa massacre and Black Wall Street, where Black people actually managed to build community and come together and create this almost utopia, and it was shut down, burned down, and everyone was basically massacred for it. This idea of using cheat codes suggests that Kendrick is leaning on his people, his friends, his culture, his roots, and that's seen as an unfair advantage, even though in reality, community is a core part of survival and success. It's also a subtle dig to all of the recent attacks on DEI from the Trump administration. By deducting a point of life in his game, it reflects how Black people are often penalized for working together, whether it's through redlining, mass incarceration, or other systemic barriers meant to keep them from advancing. It's a critique on how the system often rigs this game of life, making it nearly impossible to win without consequences. He's also performing on different buttons across the stage. He moves across them, and this could be a reference to pushing people's buttons during this performance, or being part of a rigged game where other people press the buttons in his life, carrying on that PlayStation gaming symbolism. And he continues to push buttons in the performance by teasing "Not Like Us" multiple times.
Yeah, that song. Oh, maybe I think about it.
Playing into the Super Bowl's love for big moments and spectacle. He even directly acknowledges the controversy, smirking, "You know people like to sue," nodding to Drake's threats to sue him over performing a song that calls him a PDF file. And when he does this, Uncle Sam comes back saying, "Oh, you've done lost your mind." And this is where the Drake beef starts to make sense in a wider context, because Kendrick Lamar's core criticism of Drake was that he is essentially a minstrel cosplaying Black culture and all the worst parts of Black culture and operating as an object and a minstrel of the machine to project these stereotypes and everything the system wants you to believe about Black people, to keep Black people down. He's showing how, in comparison, Kendrick is the opposite of this, and the industry expected him to play it safe and stick to the classics at the Super Bowl like all the other artists, especially with all these lawsuit threats from Drake's team. And for now, Kendrick appeases them. And we go into SZA's performance, which is some light relief from all of the tension that's been set up in the performance so far. Almost like a distraction. The culture industry distracting us from what's really going on. And they play the most commercially successful and mainstream of his songs, All the Stars. And probably the only song most of the white crowd watching actually knows. Beyond the surface, people are still divided. He is in blue and SZA is in red to show this. The dancers are also still separated and divided, showing that while we might have this artificial layer of unity, or we may have this distraction of entertainment, we can't cover up the fact that we're still divided as a people. Now, Black Uncle Sam loves this performance, and this reinforces the point again, just in case people didn't get it. And Uncle Uncle Sam says, now you're playing the game right. You're not performing Squabble Up, you're not acting too ghetto, you're performing the hits like America wanted. And then Kendrick interjects and interrupts him. And he says a couple of important lines here, but I'm going to focus on this 40 acres and a mule line. Now, if you don't know, 40 acres and a mule is what slaves were given as compensation when they were set free. Referencing this 40 acres and a mule in a Super Bowl performance ties in directly to the ongoing conversation about reparations, systemic oppression, and the broken promises to Black Americans. Originally promised to formerly enslaved people as compensation for their forced labor, this land was later taken back, leaving Black families without the economic foundation that they were actually owed. And by invoking a symbol like this on such a massive stage, Kendrick is reminding America of its unfinished business. How Black people built this country, but were never truly compensated for the loss that it took to get there. And how that legacy of economic disparity still exists today. This could also speak to how Kendrick won't be bored. And just because he was given this platform, given the opportunity to perform at the Super Bowl, doesn't mean that he is going to take his 40 acres and a mule, shut up and sit down and keep his mouth shut. He is going to use his platform because that's who he is and that's what the world needs. And right after this, Kendrick gets back to business. He also says, you tried to rig the game, but you can't fake influence, which is a jab at Drake and his threats to sue Kendrick over what to perform. Again, fitting into this wider video game imagery of other people deciding and controlling what he can and can't say, and also giving a wider view into this conversation around censorship that we're having in America right now. I say we, I live in New Zealand. This is one of the most powerful moments in the performance. It's Kendrick saying that he won't be the minstrel that they wanted. He won't just play the hits. And instead, he made his own kind of spectacle, one that defied the rules and reminded everyone exactly who he is, but also exactly what they should be focusing on. Now, for this song, there's also a very interesting moment where Kendrick turns to the camera and addresses Drake directly, because you know he's probably watching while he's crying in his mansion. And those aren't the only great moments that we got in this song. Now, this was a moment. Serena Williams, one of the greatest athletes of all time, hits a crip walk on the stage at the Super Bowl while Kendrick is performing. And if you missed the backstory, Drake name-dropped Serena Williams and her husband in a diss track last year, calling her man a groupie. Now, Drake and Serena Williams are rumored to be dating, and apparently it didn't end that well. And since the relationship ended, Drake has been throwing barbs. Sad boy that he is. Now, the crip walk itself is iconic. It's a dance that's rooted in West Coast gang culture, but also just...
Hold up, y'all. Wait a minute. I didn't know Drake and Serena Williams was dating at one time? Is that what she just said? Wait a minute.
Calling her man a groupie. Now, Drake and Serena Williams are rumored to be dating, and
it was a rumor that they was dating. Okay, allegedly, basically.
Name-dropped Serena Williams and her husband in a diss track last year, calling her man a groupie. Now, Drake...
Come on, man. Drake? Come on, Drake. What does her husband, your ex, allegedly, if you was dating her at one time, what does her ex got to do with anything, man? Come on, cuz. He ain't got nothing. That's another dude. Shame on you. Here we go.
Forming. And if you missed the backstory, Drake name-dropped Serena Williams and her husband in a diss track last year, calling her man a groupie. Now, Drake and Serena Williams are rumored to be dating, and apparently it didn't end that well. And since the relationship ended, Drake has been throwing barbs. Sad boy that he is. Now, the crip walk itself is iconic. It's a dance that's rooted in West Coast gang culture, but also just generally Black culture. And over time, it's become an expression of Black identity. Serena did it after winning Wimbledon, making headlines worldwide. And Serena is also a woman who is often targeted and dragged by the media for her Blackness. And now she is doing something that is so quintessentially Black at the biggest sporting event in white America during a song song designed to clown her biggest hater. Now, in this moment, Kendrick wasn't just calling out Drake, he was reclaiming a moment, celebrating a queen, and making sure that hip-hop history was written on football's biggest stage. Now, another thing I wanted to point out is for this song, the division ends and everyone comes together, red, white, and blue, for Not Like Us. And again, this could be a nod to how Kendrick actually united the Bloods and the Crips for the Not Like Us music video, because apparently they also hate Drake too. And then we get one of the most legendary moments in the performance, the entire crowd singing along, screaming A minor. Coming together in unison to call Drake a PDF file on one of the biggest, most watched American spectacles. And then we also get a little cameo from DJ Mustard, who comes out looking like he is so happy to be there. After the song, he repeats this phrase at the end of the performance: "Turn this TV off, turn this TV off." And this could be a reference to Drake, to turn this TV off because the beef is officially over and, you know, he might as well pack it up and go home. But I think it is also a wider conversation about what is happening in America. It's time to stop watching and start doing. It's time to wake up and stop sitting in this state of paralysis and apathy and actually get up and fight for the country that you want to live in. And at the end of the performance, now all the buttons are lit up on the stage. And for the first time, all dancers are on the buttons at the same time, showing that maybe we might have more power than we think in this.
Oh, yeah. Turn the TV off and get into the game. What makes it so bad is you can get into the game by just using your social media platforms now. You don't have to turn the TV all the way off. It's a middle thing now. The social media is the answer, man. Check it out.
This game of life as Black people. And that's everything I could find in the Super Bowl performance. And if you think there's anything that I might have missed, let me know in the comments section. But when you look at all of the symbolism and all the commentary about the political and racial state of America, this is perhaps one of the most potent clapbacks to the current regime that America is going through, and is also why I feel like this rendition of the Super Bowl will forever be remembered as one of the greatest moments of all time.
Facts. Look here, oh man, I don't even know how I want to end. We here, y'all. Right after that Super Bowl, shout out to Jay-Z, man. Jay-Z made this happen. Shout out to Jay-Z, man. I don't care what anybody say now, man. I'm on Jay-Z's side. I'm on Kendrick Lamar's side, Drake, all of them, man, because it took a long time to get here. And we're here, man. So you look, listen to Uncle Mike now. You can use your social media right now. See, here's the difference between the news and these channels or whatever the case may be back in the day is our entertainment had to come from that. Our entertainment came from that. We had no choice but to look at it. It's like whatever they put on a spoon, they shove it in your mouth. Today, social media, like Uncle Mike, you can pick and choose who you want to listen to. You don't have to turn that TV on no more for entertainment. You can actually turn on YouTube and be entertained, by us, not by Uncle Mike, by whoever your favorite YouTuber is, or whoever your favorite Instagrammer is, whoever your favorite TikToker is. So you become the favorite and you preach and educate to them how you can make your world, your surrounding. And it's not a black and white thing, people. You can make your surroundings better. All you have to do is start like this. Be colorblind, number one, because this ain't got nothing to do with black or white. Be colorblind first. Stop being educated by what you was taught. Democrat or Republican. It ain't about that no more. It's about learning what makes your environment better. That's all it's about. Learning what makes your environment better. And then you turn around and teach other people to follow you. Get it? Followers. If you got a lot of followers, where are you leading them to? Uncle Mike gonna show you how to do it, baby. Look here, I'm gonna get on up out of here. Hey, y'all take it light, take it slow. Let me know if you're an ender. If you are an ender, meaning that you made it to the end of this video, you are a ender. You made it all the way and you hear my voice right now. Shout out to y'all, man, because you are the ones that's helping this channel to grow, and we are bringing out messages, and we are helping people. Help people. Them two words, help people. That's all you got to do in this world. So if you are an ender, put in there, I'm an ender, Uncle Mike. I'm trying to help people. We have a YouTube course and all that type of stuff. Click in the description below and look for our YouTube course. Sign up and I will send you, I swear y'all, I will send you the videos, 4 videos that changed my life. Y'all take it light, take it slow. Tell them Uncle Mike told you so. Peace out.